There you go. So do the whole Miller time thing. Better grab one of those beers.
I'll grab one.
Give me one too.
So I can crack it open. Hey there, Internet. I'm Short of the Max Extreme.
I'm sorry. Do one more. One more. I'm Ghost Hunter Dave.
Together, we fight crime as Imperius Rex.
That's right.
Coming up. Are we doing the title drop?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Next up, Booze, Broads, and Bullets. The first and only short story collection. Mm-hmm. I don't know if these were put out randomly, like over the course of the entire run of the series, and they were just collected in one or what, but here's a bunch of Sin City shorts, essentially.
This is where the opening to the first Sin City movie comes into play. Mm-hmm. And also...
Customer is always right, I think.
Is this also the opening... A story, and this is the opening to the second movie as well, with Marv.
Yep.
This one, it was a breeze. I actually like the brevity of this one quite a bit, because some of the stories read really quick, and there's some, like, wordless ones as well.
Yeah, a Marv one.
Yeah, which I like that one quite a bit, actually.
It's like a Christmas one.
Yeah.
I imagine, like, that was like a Dark Horse Presents Christmas special.
Yeah. There are two of the short stories that I had questions with.
Okay.
And
probably the same ones I do.
One of them was rats.
Yeah, that was a weird one. The Holocaust one?
Yeah. Because was the guy insinuated that he's a Nazi, right? And
I think so. And a big Jewish guy just came in and
cooks him in an oven.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh. Like, with all the swastikas being thrown around, I'm like, what the fuck? At least he's killing Nazis in this one, I guess.
But, like, Frank, come on.
And then another one was Daddy's Little Girl.
Yep.
Which deals with incest, and it is...
Oh, boy. That was...
very uncomfortable.
Yes. That was probably the worst. I don't know, worst is a strong term, but the most off-putting of anything in the Sin City universe.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It's violent. It's sex, everything. This felt like it crossed a line. Like, it was in a different book.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't feel right.
No.
At all. It didn't feel like it fit in Sin City. And some of them didn't. Like, even Rats didn't even really feel like it
No, it felt like a horror story.
Universe. Yeah.
Like it could have been in a horror anthology.
Yeah. And so I have no idea. And, like, none of these really connect. I mean, Marv is in, what, a few stories in this?
I think 3, maybe? 2 or 3?
So that was kind of cool to see him return.
It was just an excuse to draw Marv more.
Which is fine. Like,
yeah. So on the subject of short stories, I want to jump in a little bit on the second movie, Sin City.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 original shorts in that.
Yeah.
That I feel like would have been right at home in this.
Yeah.
Or they could have been their own book. So in the second film, The Long Bad Night is about a gambler, Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays him, fixing to score this, like, big score.
Big score!
And he beats the wrong man. He beats one of the Rourkes.
The Rourke.
Rourke. Senator Rourke.
Yeah.
And gets himself in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
And then you find out that he is actually Rourke's son, and he just wants to show, kind of like Leonidas and Xerxes, he just wants to show that someone in that power can bleed.
Yeah, and kind of just stick it to him a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. So he has every chance to get away, but he keeps playing, beats him, and then gets a bullet in the head.
Yeah.
And I really dug this story.
Me too, and it felt like it fits, like, in anything else that's been written. And they were written by Frank Miller. So, but I really like this incorporation of this story a lot. And I was kind of disappointed that it never showed up in the books.
Yeah.
Because
you've got it written, man. Put it in. Make it volume 8.
Yeah. It works really well. It tied in with the Rourkes. It tied in with Katie's Place. I like the whole like gambling aspect of it make it seem like he's kind of a scumbag because he's like gets his money off like shysting people or whatever.
And then it also kind of spans off, and it's a separate story in Sin City, Dame to Kill For, the sequel.
Yes.
Called Nancy's Last Dance, which kind of interweaves with this. And if you wanted to, you could make this one book. It just kind of has two central characters.
Right.
And jump back and forth, which would be cool.
Yeah.
And that one is about Nancy, 4 years after the Yellow Bastard took place, is still reeling from Hardigan's suicide.
Yeah.
Nice going, Hardigan. Piece of shit.
Yeah, you prick.
You piece of shit, cop. She's on this downward spiral. She's like drinking herself crazy.
Yeah.
And like cutting herself up and just she doesn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And finally she decides she's gonna get Rourke.
Right.
So she teams up with Marv. And when I first saw this, I was like, chronologically, this doesn't feel right to me. Like, is Marv alive or dead at this point?
Oh, yeah.
On the second watch, I was like, it's fine.
Yeah, if you think about
more
it,
Marv is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
So she teams up, and they go on this, like, assault on Kase Rourke. And she gets her revenge. And that is, like, the perfect capstone to Sin City.
Yeah. And this is the one story that I didn't like as much. And it wasn't just because Jessica Alba was playing the part and had more acting in it. But I like the fact that throughout all of Sin City, granted, like, she's a dancer, but she is, like, she's like
an angel.
She's an angel. She's untouchable.
Yeah.
Everyone is protecting her. Marv is protecting her. Everyone. She's like this untouchable holy figure.
Yeah. A goddess.
Yeah. But in this, like, she, like, degrades herself. Like, I didn't need every character to kind of have a shitty ending.
Yeah.
And because
Sin City, man.
I know, but I didn't care for it. I'm like, I wanted at least somebody to come out of this unscathed.
I thought it was pretty much in the Sin City formula, where even the best person by the end of it is, like, wrecked. And I think the last lines of the movie are like, this damn city or something like that. And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you.
Rourke, and I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. Like, the way the series on paper ends, it doesn't tie in with, like, the larger scope at all. It's no Rourke stuff. It's no reoccurring characters.
Right.
Dude, you're doing another Xerxes. You're doing it.
Another Xerxes.
Come back and just adapt that last Sin City story as a comic. Call it Book 8 and put an end on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I felt like it was the perfect ending to his whole run.
Yeah, they bring up the Rourkes throughout the whole thing, and they never really have any resolution to like Senator Rourke at all. But I just don't. That story didn't work for me in the movie, even though they did kind of like wrap up all the Rourke shit in it.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I think on my first viewing of it, I wasn't a huge fan of it, and then when I watched it again, I liked it a little more. And I even was fine with Marv in it again. Like, Marv is essentially Sin City's Wolverine. Like, you just
even
put him in it.
He sits by fake Wolverine at the bar all the time.
Just to size him up. Make sure he's still top dog. I guess I have more to say about the movie than the collection of shorts, but I just feel like the additional material in the movie was right at home in something like Booze, Broads, and Bullets.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I feel like also Booze, Broads, and Bullets was kind of a precursor to the next volume, the longest Sin City, which we're getting to. These are long videos. Hope you're sticking with us. Hope you haven't been flagged asking for, like, your age to watch something like this yet. Apologies if you watch these at work normally. But yeah, it introduces, like, two new characters, two female assassins that pop up kind of briefly in the next one.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else on this one?
Nope.
All right. Hell and Back. Take us home.
So, Hell and Back, the last chapter of the Sin City verse, introduces a whole new character, Wallace. And he is, like, the other character that I think that is, like, not a shithead.
Yeah. He is the most competent protagonist of the entire Sin City series.
Yeah, so
to the point where, like, there's no drama in it. He's so perfect.
Yeah, it's so... But it almost is like... It doesn't almost feel like a Sin City book then. I mean, it does and it doesn't, but, like, he he's just like never wrong.
He's so formidable.
he's just like
he's like, what is he, like an ex-Navy SEAL
and like
an artist
and a ninja and an artist, and he's like perfect, but he looks like Jesus, and it's like
he does.
It's like a
Sin
whole
City
thing.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So I remember when this was going to be adapted, they were thinking this might be number 3 if they do a 3.
Obviously, that's about the only thing.
Yeah,
left.
that's all they've got.
Yeah.
They were throwing Johnny Depp around.
Yeah, maybe like
I would say at that time, this is like 9 years ago. You know, they were talking. They weren't talking 3 after part 2 came out. But at that time, I could see it. He's not buff, but like, I could do Johnny Depp in this.
Yeah.
Is that another one I shouldn't say like this? The voice. I read this kind of in his voice, his like monotone Johnny Depp voice.
Sure. Okay, I can see that.
You know, nowadays if they did it, it would be Jason Momoa.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like I picture him more as a normal guy,
right,
than like this buff superhero.
So Wallace is an artist, and he comes across a lovely woman. I've forgotten her name. What was her name?
Esther?
Esther, yeah. So Wallace is
terrible name.
Wallace is an artist, and he comes across this like Valkyrie of a woman.
Yes.
Esther.
A goddess. Some may call her a goddess.
A goddess. And he becomes completely infatuated with her after he saves her life.
Because she's gonna commit suicide. She's jumping off a cliff.
And then he brings her back to good health, realizes all these things about her, and like this little quirk that he doesn't know like why she tried to kill herself. But he like falls in love with her almost on the at first sight.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but things are afoot where maybe a little shady organization is after her, but they want her back to do like experiments on her.
They want to like they're kind of like sex trafficking, aren't they?
Was it? That's what it was.
This one's weird.
Yeah, because they said to change her face and stuff like that in it too.
She looked too ethnic.
Yeah.
This was another one where I felt like minority speaking was really odd.
Yeah.
There's a lot of homophobic slurs in this one, but also a lot of homosexual characters randomly put into it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the ethnic
they
thing.
really try to draw attention to.
Yeah. So, like, there's some cops. One of them is a transsexual. And they all have names of serial killers. I don't know why.
I didn't pick that up.
You didn't? It was like Bundy, Gacy, and like Dahmer.
Oh, Jesus. How could I not?
Yeah. So they're weird. And they're like throwing like faggot and stuff around all over the place.
Which is
that feels very dated.
It felt uncomfortable to read as much as to hear you say it just now.
Especially right here in this environment. So there's that. And then like you were saying, like Esther is like one of the first African-American characters in Sin City.
Pretty much.
And they're saying like, yeah, we need to change her face, make her like more marketable. Or something like that. It's like,
and I'm like, what are they trying to do here?
Yeah.
But anyway, his whole mission is to try to like rescue her, and he needs to go track her down through like a myriad of other...
Yeah, typical Sin City storyline.
Yeah.
Hero saves girl.
Yeah, exactly.
And he comes across like an old army buddy, Captain, I think he calls him. And also goes on a drug-induced trip. Yeah. Which, we'll get to that. That's a highlight of the book.
Yes.
Before eventually meeting up with the chief of police, I think. And telling him the climax of the book.
Pure Edgar Wright fashion.
Yes. Where, like, he meets this guy, and you're like, okay, now what's going to happen? And then Wallace proceeds to be like, oh yeah, I beat all the bad guys, saved the girl, and it's over. Because he's so fucking formidable.
Yeah.
Like, there's no drama to it. Yeah. He's just like, oh yeah, I wasted everyone and wiped out their organization. Right.
Giving high kicks to everybody.
Yes. Yep. And then him and Esther ride off into the sunset, and he's like, oh yeah, one more thing. Why'd you try to kill yourself? And she's like, I was lonely. And that is... Oh. That is worse than Hartigan's decision for suicide. That is dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
I read that and I'm like, I wish that wasn't like the last word on the page, because that is a dumb ending.
Yeah. Especially because like she seems like
she's so bubbly through the whole thing. Like she's trying on outfits and taking like 20 minutes to get dressed, and she's like a blast.
Yeah.
It's like she have like what is she highs and lows? What's up?
But there's like some parts where it seems like she doesn't even know her own history. That's why I was confused with her character, because it seemed like she was like some experiment with like that somebody wiped her memory, so she only had like a memory of like the last week or a few days or whatever. But I'm like,
know.
What's going on? I couldn't follow what was going on with her very well. But I was also trying to shotgun 7 Trades of Sin City.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Also, Sin City, best read in installments. I wouldn't recommend shotgunning it, because it gets really tired.
Yeah.
Really old, really repetitious. But standalone, they're really good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you crack open that giant goddamn book of Sin City.
Yeah.
Give it a breather.
Yeah.
Read something else in between. They're all good, but like, pace yourself.
Yeah.
Also, Wallace is so polite. He calls everyone like ma'am, and he's just a great dude. He's by far the best character in Sin City.
I would agree.
In terms of manners.
Yeah.
So let's get to the main draw of this book. So this is where Frank decided to just go nuts. Uh-huh. Nuttier than usual, I guess.
Also, don't say nuts.
Sorry. He cinch up here. So he gets doused with something.
Yeah.
You know, and he goes on a trip. Mm-hmm. A full color trip. First time Sin City has expanded beyond black and white, other than some spot color here and there. Yellow, for instance.
Or blue.
Or blue. Or orange.
Yeah.
What a fucking weird color to pick.
Terrible.
Pink, he didn't have pink or red or green. They go with orange in this book, too.
Yeah.
I had that in the notes. We can knock it out now. Orange, terrible spot color.
Get out of here, orange.
Moving on. So he goes on his drug-induced trip.
Orange.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And this is like a full chapter of him just tripping balls.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Language.
And he's still doing his thing, but he's perceiving everybody as a myriad of like Frank Miller creations and random pop culture things.
Yeah.
So what do you got to say about this?
So I really love this. Actually.
I did too. It's my favorite part of the book.
I loved it a lot, and it was.
Leonidas comes in.
But that wasn't the first time you've seen him either. Like early on, there's like they make reference to Leonidas.
Oh yeah, in Big Fat Kill.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, but I couldn't remember what came
Dwight
first.
channels him into that narrow alley.
Yeah.
Hot gates.
But you see,
can I say hot gates?
it's
questionable.
But you see him. You see Hellboy at point.
Dinosaurs. Rusty. The robot and big guy.
Yeah, which he also writes.
Uh-huh.
You see Captain America.
Yeah.
At one point.
I was surprised there's no Batman.
Yeah, I was. Well, I was actually surprised you saw people outside of Dark Horse. To be like, how'd they get away with doing Captain America?
I have no idea.
But I love that it was in full color. I love that he knows cognizantly what's going on outside of like. Mm-hmm. Who was it that his like captain turned into? They said like, stop checking out my ass.
Yeah, it's Wonder Woman at one point, and isn't it Martha Washington? One of the other Frank Miller books.
Oh, I couldn't pick out who one of them was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them's Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Should I put on the Wonder Woman thing?
No.
But yeah, that part was great.
Yeah.
And it's essentially like needless, but it's
fun.
If you're gonna fill an issue with nothingness, I would rather it be crazy visuals than like repetitive chatter.
Yeah, and it was like it was something that we haven't yet seen before either. Mm-hmm. And it was something completely wacky. I was like, I'm kind of back on board to the story right now. For like this being the longest one, I was like, I'm glad something is in here like 3/4 of the way through. So I'm just like, okay, finally something cool.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hell and Back I dug it.
Yeah,
it's weird. It didn't feel like a Sin City book to me, though.
Yeah, I had that down too. Like all the characters kind of felt like a little off, like he hasn't written the Sin City in a while, and he kind of forgot.
Yeah.
Even though there was that reoccurring, like Hitwoman character.
Blue Eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She pops up in this.
Yeah, which she was first in the shorts. Mm-hmm. And then the woman in Orange, I don't remember her, but Orange! But I love I love that they stopped the storyline and gave this weird interlude where they told her backstory, and this poor kid, like this high schooler kid that like crossed paths with her, and I think like, that's one of my favorite panels where he's like, I had the boner of a lifetime when he saw her.
Oh, God.
And she just like pummels him.
Yeah.
And you just get like this little snapshot of her history. It felt very like Tarantino.
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's like, we're gonna just stop everything, show a little bit of this, and then back at it.
Yeah.
Like, we're bringing in a new character. Here's what you need to know. She's a badass. Moving on.
Yep.
So overall, Hell and Back, decent end of the series.
Yeah.
While feeling kind of not really in line with the series.
Yeah. But it reads quick for its...
The longest.
The longest. It reads really quick, just like the rest of the series does. So.
Yeah. Do you think he's done? You know, like... Is he on a long hiatus? Because he's been doing movies and stuff, but...
I would assume I wouldn't see any, like, at his age now, like, he's... I don't know, like, how his health is either, but I would assume he's doing more DC stuff more than going back to Sin City at this point.
Yeah, I guess he's got another Dark Knight in the works.
Yeah.
God help us. But yeah, I would be totally up for more Sin City.
I would be too if he wants to go back to it. If it can recapture what I liked about it when it started, like I would be way into it. Even if it's just like shorts.
So overall, you happy you knocked him out?
Yeah.
You had that series sitting on your shelf for ages.
Forever. Like, yeah, and I just needed a reason to read it. And so that's why even these episodes exist.
That's why we're dressed like this today. Because Troy had books to read.
But I would suggest people to give it a shot because it's fun. Like, there's not really anything out there like this either.
No.
So I'm glad I read it, and there's a myriad of different ways you can collect it as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's the trades that are harder to find, which if you line up the spines, these are the ones that you have. That it's the Nancy image.
Naked Nancy dancing on the spines.
I have the white. I think the 3rd edition printings. They're all new cover art by Frank Miller. They're stark white.
Yeah, I like those.
These are really slick looking. They're digest size. Really cool.
And then,
or you can get the big damn Sin City omnibus, which will just crush your thighs.
Yeah.
And even like try to lay it down on there.
Read it on a table.
Yeah. But that collects everything and like an art book that came out. Whenever that came out. I have no idea.
It's gotta be like 10,000 pages. Even shit that's not Sin City, they've put in it. They were going for a record.
Just looking at Sin City and how big it is on my shelf and all the trades and like all that is in one book. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
Unreadable.
Man. Yeah, unreadable.
But I kind of want to buy it. But overall, that's Sin City. You know, quite a foray into crime noir.
Noir.
For the comic medium. Best enjoyed over a period of time.
Yep.
Don't shotgun it. Just,
don't
soak
do what
it up.
I did.
Yeah. It's like Black Mirror. Too much and you want to jump off a cliff and say you're lonely.
Yeah.
What else we got, Troy?
Well, the only thing I would really want to know is if anybody else has read it out there. Like, did you shotgun it after our last episode?
Yeah.
And see what you think. Because, like,
try to keep up with us.
It did come out, like, quite a bit ago. I would be interested in knowing if somebody read it as it was coming out.
Yeah.
I'd just be interested in everybody's thoughts overall. So let us know down below what you thought
of Sin City.
Either the movies, whatever. The comics, I'd be more than happy to know. Let's start a conversation.
Let's do it.
Let's start a conversation downstairs.
Here.
Yeah.
Yep. Weird community. It's like I have my hand in my loins.
But that's going to wrap up Miller time.
Or is it? Do we got one more, maybe?
Well,
we got one more in us?
I could say
Keeping
we do.
It close to the vest?
I'm bringing it close to this damn fine coat.
Right. Well, you mean to say we'll see how much time you have in the next, week and a half?
That's right.
All right. So maybe there'll be another chapter. Maybe there won't. Who's to say?
But until next time, I have been Troy to the Max Extreme.
And I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
Thank you for joining us on this Miller Time excursion, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
On IMPERIUS REX. Right? Just gonna laugh it off?
That's right. What else are they watching at this point?